Hola, amigos, and welcome to Keyframers, the animated collaborative coding live stream where we bring imaginative user interfaces to life. I'm your host, Stephen Shaw, but you may know me as @Shashaw.
And I'm your host, David Khourshid, also known as @DavidKPNO.
Together, we are coding compadres, animation amigos, Boolean buddies, and keyframe companions.
Yeah, so we will be creating an animation today from scratch live using JSX, CSS, and a lot of JavaScript, probably an excessive amount.
Yes, an unusual amount of JavaScript, because today we are going to be using React.
Yes, just as a fun experiment. Now, keep in mind that all of the episodes that we've done have been using pure, well, not pure, but like we've been using CSS, HTML, a little bit of JavaScript, and no frameworks. And so the idea is to teach you techniques for taking your animations into any framework that you want. But we did run a poll recently, right?
Yes, putting that up now. Links in the chat. Yeah, we wanted to hear from y'all what you're most interested in seeing. We commonly get comments on the videos asking about specific frameworks or when are we going to do X, Y, Z. So we just wanted to see what y'all are most interested in, and by far React was at the top of the list. So yeah, here we are doing a little React for you guys. We'll probably touch on other frameworks and other libraries and things down the road.
Of course.
Just starting out, wanted to hit what y'all are interested in. So
yeah, so I chose an animation, or I found an animation that actually had a lot of dynamic data, which you would actually probably end up reaching for a framework to use anyway, whether it's React's Vue, Svelte, Mithril, Aurelia. I'm trying to name all the ones before I get to Angular because
DHTML.
Yeah, sure. Backbone, or some other ones. I don't know.
Yeah. Ember, is that
Ember?
Yeah.
Yes, Ember. Ember's great.
Yeah. Svelte was a surprisingly frequent request, considering
Svelte is really cool.
I'm interested in it.
It's like React with the ease of Vue.
Okay.
But a lot simpler too, except like some unique concepts that you have to learn. But otherwise, it seems like a solid choice moving forward.
For that.
Yeah.
Well, before we get too far, this show is made possible by your support. You can pledge at patreon.com/keyframers or hit the like and subscribe buttons around the videos. We do have some links available below for you guys. And if you sign up as a patron, you can get one of these cool gold Keyframers pins. So you want to do that. You definitely want to do that.
And also, we're happy to answer any questions you may have, such as, how do I get the pin? We just told you. So reach out in the chat or comments below, or to the side, wherever it is.
Over there. Yeah, sure. And if you're watching this later on YouTube and are short on time, we have a section at the end of the show called Keyflections, and there's a timestamp link down below that gives a summary of everything that we have learned along the way. And if you're joining us live, thanks for coming along for the journey. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it is going to be fun working on React for, I believe it's the first time.
Yes, not the first time for us, but the first time on the show. We definitely
that would be interesting. I think that we should do an episode on Vue, or no, not Vue, but like Svelte, just so it's really the first time for both of us.
That will be fun. Yeah. So yeah, like we were talking about, we've got a nice animation for everyone. Let me get over to that. Sorry, just in settings here. There we go. So yeah, tell us a little bit about this animation, David.
All right. Well, it's your simple search bar, but there's some really nice animations in here where, as you type, items appear or disappear depending on what's being searched for. And so you could just think about it as a simple filter, but there's some flippy, I want to say flippy, but just basically dynamic layouts going on as elements are entering and leaving. Now, it does look like when elements leave, they just disappear completely, so we don't have to worry too much about that. But what I want to focus on is the appearing part of it and how you would accomplish this with the framework as things dynamically change.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of cool elements to it. But the bulk of the interaction is, you're typing something and it's filtering out results, showing those results, and so focusing on those kind of enter animations and how you would get all this done in React. So shall we get started?
Let's get started. I literally have nothing, so we are starting from complete scratch, which is fine.
Yes.
Thank
you. Thank you. That's what I was about to do. So, working with React, since we're in CodePen, we're not using like npm install or anything like that. We have those referenced from CDN.js, which may or may not be a good idea right now. But we have React and React DOM, and those are both included here. So that we'll just get up and running. David, do you still use class components by and large, or are you functional?
No, 100% functional. So React calls them function components, and it's because they're not functional, like they're not pure functions, but rather it's just a different way of writing your components where everything exists within the scope of this function for each of your components. And you use hooks to have things such as state or effects or memoization or anything else. And so it's actually a lot simpler than you might think. And class components did make things a bit gnarly. So, yeah.
Yes.
Now, some people in the chat says svelte animations or Riot's GSAP 3.0 or Riot. I do not encourage rioting. Please don't riot.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like, don't get upset if we don't do svelte animations. Also, Riot's the name of a framework, which is very
nice. Well, yeah. GSAP 3 came out today, which is very cool. I think
awesome.
I think David might actually let us use it one time now that they've changed the API.
I'm okay with it. The API is still terrible, but I'm still willing to give it a try.
Terrible, according to David K. Piano's standards, is more than fine for 98% of the internet, but
that's true.
We'll get there.
But by terrible, I mean they took whatever they had with ActionScript and Flash, and they kept it.
Well, so yeah, GreenSock was basically made at a transition point of the internet, so it's tough to fault it for that API.
Yeah,
but
I totally understand. Like, they want to maintain backwards compatibility. They want to not introduce a completely foreign API. So it's fair that the way their API is totally cool, but it's still pretty dated.
Well, the new API is much better. It feels a lot more at home in frameworks and things like that. The kind of webpacky world that we live in these days. It should be much more easy to get into now. All right, so let's see. I've got just a app function component, React DOM render. I can't remember what the syntax is. Is it element first or?
Yes, the element first. So we'd have like an app, and then we would. So let's just
component first.
Turn div hello world, and have that right in there.
Right, and then so we'll document query selector app.
I'll call this search bar. So dot search bar.
Okay, so there we go.
Yeah,
we are done.
We are done. Yeah, it took all of 4 lines to 3, 4, whatever metric you use to measure lines. That's all it took to render a React app. So that's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're unfamiliar, React DOM is kind of the connector between React, which can be run on React Native as like a native app or anything like that, and a lot of the code can port back and forth pretty seamlessly. React DOM connects that to the browser and gets that going. So we're just telling React DOM to render our app component on this element. So if we inspect, we'll see div class equals search bar. Yeah, you can see that there. JSX is the templating language that React uses, and it's like HTML but worse. I mean, better. It has a lot of good conventions.
I mean, you're not wrong. This is basically the same as return React.create element and then div and then null for that and then hello world. Nobody needs to know this. The only reason I know this is because sometimes I teach workshops on this. Or actually, yeah, you have class name, search bar. And so this would be, the JSX would just be an easier way of doing the above.
Right. Yeah, it's a little more familiar than writing everything out in JavaScript. But it's kind of like HTML and JavaScript, had a baby. Some of the good parts of both worlds there. All right, so we've got our search bar, and we've got our app. Let's go back.
So I'll go ahead and make a component for the search input. So function search input, and right now I'll just make that a div. I feel so guilty making everything divs, but whatever. And input type equals search. And so the search input, would go there, and then function results. And that's just going to be your UL, return UL, and then line 1. And then we'll add some stuff into these later.
Right. These will eventually be a dynamic. Now, one thing to note, if you are using CodePen to make React, so like I showed you, the Cloudflare or the CDN.js inclusion of React and React DOM, you'll also want to toggle over to the JavaScript preprocessor Babel, which helps with the JSX processing there.
Oh gosh, that's big.
Let's see.
Yeah, there we go. Cool. So we have a search, and then we have some some results in there. So we're pretty much done.
Yeah, not bad. No, we have a good ways to go here, but we'll figure it out. Changed that div over to a label so that we can eventually add that SVG icon in there, and clicking that will still work to focus on the input. Technically,
no, I only where Lacoste asked, do you still need to close self-closing elements? And the quick answer is yes, you need that / closing just because of how JSX is, I guess, interpreted. Just add it.
Yeah,
be a good citizen.
It's very wise to do that in React land. And I'm doing the parentheses around the JSX there, just so we can get it nice and clean. It returns the same as if those weren't around it. But if you're unfamiliar, that can seem a little strange. So there we go. All right. So React components are kind of like custom elements, essentially. You're going to group basically your template and your functionality to a certain extent, all in one kind of function here. So in our app, we're calling those functions in the JSX as these custom elements. So we get the template back, and any functionality that powers that component is going to be run as well. So if you're totally unfamiliar with components and things like that, just think of them like custom elements. So we could drop in multiple search inputs if we wanted. We could pass down props or attributes to kind of affect the different pieces of the component. But yeah, they're essentially elements that you make.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Thanks for following.
Oh, shoot. Equals search input, type equals search. There we go. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So.
Okay. So let's get interactive. Let's make this a little bit dynamic. So for now, we're just going to have like a static list of items. What's a good thing to search for?
You know, it'd be great to be able to search through our videos here.
All right. Do we have a static array for that?
No, I don't. Give me a minute. I'll see if I can find something. You can just put junk in there for now.
I will find something.
Yes. So for the actual functionality, we're going to be using hooks, I believe.
Yes.
And will we do those at the search or at the app level, and pass things down?
Yeah, we could definitely do that. Sorry, I'm just looking for a list of stuff. You'll find out what that stuff is soon enough.
Stuff.
How's 20? No, 30? No, 48. What the heck is that? Okay, never mind. Hold on. I'm gonna find some fun stuff for us to listify.
Listify. So. Nice.
Oh gosh. Never mind.
Yeah, sorry. I meant to get some data earlier, but do not have that.
No, we will find data. Oh, I got an idea. Hold on. Wait, where is? Okay, just as a temporary thing, let's do. Oh man. Okay, don't worry. I have a plan. We have a plan. Let's see. By the way, just a random pro tip. When you're messing around with code in your console, use lets, don't use const, because you're going to be frustrated when you try to reassign it. It doesn't let you.
Yes,
so
for sure.
Okay, here we go. I got a thing.
Got a thing, huh?
Yes. Oh shoot. Do I have
For the rest of the video, we can basically just close the HTML tab because we are not going to need that. All of this will be rendered in React, more than likely.
Yes.
Let's see.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
All right. Yes, I have a data set.
Data set.
It's dog breeds.
Dog breeds. All right.
Yes.
Excellent.
So we could basically search through these dog breeds.
All right. Sounds good. So you've got const dog breeds at the top. All right, down in app, how are we going to power this?
All right, so we have our dog breeds, and ideally this is loaded asynchrony. Yes, we would. Actually, yeah, sure, that's fine. So we have use state, and we assume that the search input is going to change this state. So we could have like a const query, set query equals use state, something. And then the search input, let's assume we have some sort of on change, and we have some sort of new query. And all we do is we set the query to that value. Now, for those of you who know me and my state machine ways, you know that this is not the way I would do things. But for sake of simplicity, this is how we're doing things now.
Yeah.
And so now for the input on change, we could just say on change equals event, and we say call that onChange, so onChange with events.target.value. And so this is going to update the query, which we could say const results. Yeah, results equals dog breeds dot filter by dog breed. We just say return dog breed dot includes. Includes the query. And so we could just so results data equals results, and then so we could just pass that into here, and then data dot map item, and then return li key equals item. Very contrived example here, so don't.
It's mostly about the animation here.
We're
showcasing a few React essentials.
Do we have an error? Oh, use state is not defined. Okay, let me grab those real quick. Const use state equals React.
Yeah, typically in like a Webpacky setup, you'd be doing import React, use state from React, but we already have React included because it's an external package there. Okay, so results.
Tell me data.map is not a function. Totally is, because results. Oh, query and dog breeds.
So right. So we what I was trying to do there is ensure that there's no results if query is blank. So we can do that in different ways though. So for now, let's just return. Let's see.
Don't worry, I'll limit the height.
All right, so let's see. Yeah, okay. So we've already got some basic filtering happening. If you type in bool,
Oh yeah, there we go. Cool.
What are other types?
It's not the most efficient search, but it does work.
Yeah. Well, one thing you can do is ensure that query is the term that you're searching for is greater than the length of 3, something like that. And also one thing we can simplify here, we don't even need to call kind of another function here. We can just pass down set query directly, and that'll clean things up even more. Results. What we can do here is query length less than 3. Go ahead and just give a blank array, and then
sorry, I cleaned it up.
Hey.
All right, I'll stop doing that.
I'm gonna move our data list up to the HTML. I lied when I said we wouldn't use the HTML, but just to get that out of the way, so that everything else looks fine. We're getting some complaints in the chat about no state machine.
I know, I'll add it. So one of the questions asked was, didn't the other search have like a different way of searching? And no.
Other search have different classes of matches. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. It did search just like based on different things. We might add that functionality later, but for now, it's just that expanding, collapsing thing that we want to model.
Right. So it's basically just okay. So it does have questions and user, but that's the same principle is gonna apply for all that.
Right.
So yeah, let's
get animating.
Yeah, get animating here.
Yeah. So what we probably should do is we should actually. So I'm thinking about the different ways we could do this. And I remember last week on the episode with Adam Argyle, what I did was, and this was sort of manual with JavaScript, but we were setting the height as a variable, and then transitioning between that, and that actually worked out pretty well. It felt really nasty, but it worked.
Yeah, it definitely got the job done.
So let's just take a look at that, just because I want to show a different hook, useRef, and how we use ref to capture the DOM node of an element, and then we could get the height, and then we could set the variable to it. So it'll actually work out pretty well. I promise.
We'll see about that. That's what people tune in for, the spectacular failures.
Right, or the weird successes, which we tend to have more weird successes than spectacular failures. So there's that. I was like looking at the HTML being like, where could I add this? But I'm like, wait, we're in React land. We can't exactly, do it like that. But anyway, it's the search bar. That's what I'm going to be getting a ref to, because we want to measure the height of the search bar and store that as a CSS variable. So actually, there's really not been anything like any React tutorials on this, but this might actually be a really good technique if you don't want to go into CSS transition group or anything crazy like that.
So talk to me a little bit about what you're planning to do. Sorry.
Sure, I'll actually show you in this app. So I set up a ref to to the search bar. So search bar ref equals use ref, and we could just set that to null for now.
Yes.
And then the ref goes here. So we have an access to the DOM node.
Right.
And I could actually show you that over here. So use I have to do React.use.
Yeah, I'll include that up here.
Yeah.
So you can use
and
it directly.
So actually I'm just gonna console search bar ref.current log. So search bar ref.current. So whenever that changes, we should see that. If you open your console, you'll see the actual reference to the DOM node.
Yes.
Now we have the heights from that. So I think, right? Is it offset height or something like that?
Client height or offset height.
Client's height. I mean, I could also do get bounding clients rect, which might be smarter, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. But anyway, I have a variable just keeping track of the height. So const height, set height equals use date, and right now it's unknown. So we could just do null there or something. And then Shaw's got the right idea. We would basically set that as a CSS variable. Now the reason we do it as a CSS variable is because we don't really want it to affect anything. We don't want to ever set style directly. We want to be able to play around with those values.
Right. Yeah. One common approach with JavaScript heavy things is to actually do like all of the animating in JavaScript and like triggering those animations and controlling the style directly in that. So they might have some kind of hook and they're updating it like on request animation frame and like all this, but really that's a lot of times to make up for discomfort with using CSS. And so we're going to show how these two kind of work together. You can use the JavaScript for powering all the data and generating kind of these templates and everything, and then you feed some of that data over to CSS to power that height or power that animation. So all right, so we've got search bar ref, data height, style height, go. Okay, I lost you.
Oh, shoot. I guess my search bar. Oh, I have overflow hidden. That's why. I think. I'm trying to show the heights, like.
And after.
But. Because I want to know what that height is. Set height, rec.height. So console.log heights. Let's just make sure we're getting that height somewhere. Hopefully we are.
There you go. Your syntax was slightly off.
Wrong
in the CSS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're good.
Aha. All right, so we have like height 115, and then once we search for something, that should change. Oh, you're smart. Use layout effect. Yeah, there's a difference between use effect and use layout effect, but it's not actually changing the height. And I think, oh yeah, it's because the search bar ref.current is
not changing.
Right, it's not changing. So instead, we're just going to
use layout effect.
I got an idea. So
yeah, it's working now. It's working now.
Wait,
it's working. Yeah.
Right, because it's updating every single time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you might get infinite whatever with that. So
search bar ref is not as yeah.
All right, fine.
Let's see.
All right, yeah, that works. All right, cool. So now that we have the height and it's being updated, we could transition between that. And so we could use, I'm going to use the pseudo elements just for fun. So this is a technique we've been going on over and over again, where we have this sort of, what do you want to call it? Just a ghost element, not a ghost element, but just a background elements that...
It's just a layer, essentially.
It's a layer.
Treating the background as a layer rather than like a part of that object itself, or the element itself.
Right. And so this height could actually be, it could come from their, it could come from their height. The width is 100%, and we could transition. Yeah, height, whatever, 3 seconds. Let's see what happens there. Don't think it worked.
Yeah, not working.
Oh.
Yeah,
forgot that conversion.
And we need to take the background color off the search bar itself so that we can see this.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool.
Yeah. And
exactly, we still have the weird jumping around with the
position. Yeah, in the animation, the search bar isn't actually recentering or anything like that.
Okay. So we need to, I guess.
So how are you centering? Okay, you're doing it in app.
Yeah. So I guess one way we could fix that is the results should be in absolute position, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's sensible.
Let's 0.
Top 100%. Though that's not going to change our height there.
Oh, okay. So is it it's the results that need to keep track of their height.
Yeah.
So we could just move this ref thing and everything up into the results.
Yeah.
Little bit of surgery. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. Gonna move all this up here. Need to probably rename some stuff too, but that's okay. See, this just goes to show you we didn't rehearse it. It's a feature. Oh, and the ref.
Yeah, it's up in there. Set height. I'm going to change that. LRef. That should be working. Yes. And then we'll move the pseudo elements to the to the results themselves. Let's see.
So I Only Word Lacoste asks in the chat, talking about overflow hidden, how do you stop a shadow from overflowing? That's a good question. So it's a little bit weird. There are many times in doing CSS animations that I wanted something to escape an overflow hidden while keeping everything else overflow hidden. Now, CSS doesn't give you a natural way to do that. So the way that you would have to work around that is by creating separate layers, where you would have one parent layer, which is not overflow hidden, and child layers, which are selectively overflow hidden. The parents layer would, of course, allow any overflowy things to overflow, and all the child layers would not. It's sort of a workaround, you know, it works though. That's why it's called a workaround.
Equals height. Why is that not? Why is that not triggering?
What happened?
Okay, there it goes.
Yeah, sweet.
Cool. All right. So cool. Yeah, let's change that a little bit, just a little bit slower, so that we can see that effect better. Let's see. All right. Okay, cool. You've got that. Let's say width. Oh, let's see. How does that expand here? Back. Okay, it is the same width, and it's kind of underneath it. So let's do z-index -1. This is underneath just a little bit. And then let's make sure that our search bar is z-index, 100 or something, just to make sure that that's over the background there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, search input, search, and then let's see, search input, that there, and then let's see what this font size is much smaller.
Thanks for the questions, by the way, in the chat. Really, really helpful.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a stupid question, and whatever question you asked, many people had probably the same question. So
yes. And if you're watching after the fact and have a question, leave a comment, and if we don't address it, and yeah, we'll be happy to come back to that. Let's try and find let's see.
So Karm.js says you could do filter differently using temperate literals, and they went ahead and made a code sandbox for that. So I'm just taking a look at that sandbox. We have a filter to lowercase. So yeah, to lowercase would really help a lot. And the reason is because you want to have sort of a case insensitive search. So that's what that would be good for. Yeah. And so yeah, we could definitely tweak that as needed.
Just adding that icon in here.
Awesome. Love icons.
Oh.
So let's see. We have search input, search bar, border, bottom, left, radius. I hate typing like border, bottom, left, radius, border, bottom, right, radius. Yeah, it's very annoying. Especially because in my mind, I always think XY, right? So I think the horizontal goes first and then the vertical. So in my mind, it should be border left bottom radius, not border bottom left. And in fact, a lot of things in CSS are that way. They're horizontal then vertical, but there are some things which are vertical then horizontal. And that's my mini rant.
Are you taking that border radius off the search input?
No. I'm making it so that it's only rounded at the top corners. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Our search input needs that, I think. Let's see. This here and radius. What values are you using? 0.5 rem.
There we go. Now we have a. Also, interestingly enough, we're animating height, but it looks smooth, and it's going to be performed because keep in mind, we are animating a pseudo element. Now, I cannot confirm this, but it feels like that would be high performance just because pseudo elements are very, very unlikely to affect layouts. And you could even say that they could contain, because like what else are they going to affect? Like in after elements, maybe the width of the parent element, stuff like that. But yeah, we could probably say like contain whatever.
One thing I'm passing down to the search input is the query value, and you can use default value. Value to set that here. So pass that down as a prop. That should be, yeah. So now I can have some default results in there in an easy way. All right. Item.
Now I'm going to use Shaw's famous I variable for index, and we're going to go ahead and another parentheses there.
Yeah.
Add that in, and that way we could do stagger animations.
Boom.
Yeah, this makes it so easy. Like, we're not using any CSS, or not CSS. We're using CSS. We're not using any JavaScript library or anything to add those in there. So, in fact, I have a tweet on this exact technique, which I will post on the chat. Actually, I'm using this tweet for reference too.
Let's see what this infamous tweet is.
It's not that infamous.
Oh, if it's something you did, it's infamous. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. Right, and passing in the length on the parent is helpful too if you need to do percentage-based kind of stuff. That's super helpful. And then, yeah, there's the transition delay there. So, yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so we've got item. I did a quick pop-in animation. Let's see. Yeah. 3 seconds. I meant to make that 0.3 seconds. All right. That should be much quicker now.
Yeah, I was going to say that is. Yeah, and so now we could use the CSS variables for getting that stagger in there. And the stagger doesn't have to be very much. You always hear things like animations should be 300 milliseconds, maybe 250, maybe 350, around there. Stagger is different. Stagger, you do want very small amounts. Even if they're imperceivable by humans, it adds up. So that's why small staggers are okay. But as far as duration goes, that you want to go big.
Yeah. Is our height not getting set correctly?
No, it is.
Really?
Like, try typing something.
Yeah, it does. Let's see. It does initially, but yeah, that's weird. It was coming through as 0. Let me try rerunning.
Yeah, try rerunning because it definitely works for me.
Yeah. All right. Must have just been a temporary.
It's your fault. Yeah, cool. So we have our items showing. That's weird. I'm still getting, when you hover over the results, you get a weird border radius. I wonder why that is. Oh, yeah.
Results.
Because of that. So
there we go. All right, and one thing we can do is limit the number of results here. Let's see, array.slice, I think, is what we want. From beginning to end, yeah. So we can do .slice 0, 5, limit it to 5. That way, if we search for
there we go.
Interior, yeah, we don't get all of them. Cool. That just keeps it a little closer to the window height there. All right, and that's basically a search algorithm returning the top 5 results. Array.slice. That's all you need.
Nice. I'm wondering why when you search for something, but then you do something which limits the number of results, like if you type bulldog, it goes from 5 to 3, but it doesn't slide back up. I'm trying to figure that out right now.
It might be because it's transitioning as it changes, and so Yeah, it should. Let's see.
No, it really should. I'm going to use effect and see.
Well, are you doing overflow hidden on that?
Yeah. Yep. There you go. You solved it. You solved the mystery.
See, you don't need JavaScript. You just need.
But you're supposed to solve everything with JavaScript.
Yeah. See, okay. That's transitioning nicely.
Nice. Okay, that makes sense. Beautiful. All right, so taking a look back at the animation.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we have things that just sort of springs on you, which is really nice. Right now it's just sliding in, but let's see if we could emulate that springing up towards you. So I guess a scale animation, right?
For what? You mean the background?
So when the allies enter, I'm trying to find the. Oh yeah, so we have a pop in like from transform scale 5, or yeah, scale 0.5. That's weird because it. I'm looking back at the animation. Sorry.
Yeah, so those do have a background color. Let's go ahead and move that. So I've got result item.
I got here. some with the background color in there already. But yeah.
I'm just moving some of these styles. Hover, and let's just make sure that they all have a background.
Add some more tricky stuff in here too.
But of course that's not working because we set that here, so let's just clear that out. Set those styles down here. 0, list style type done. It's a little bit better. 5 grams. That is.
Let's see. Class name equals results item. Okay. Results. So I made a new. Are you in CSS? Because I'm about to type the JavaScript again.
Okay.
It's like those street cleaners. Like they have those signs where it's like just don't drive on the street because the street cleaner is going to come in and do their stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Where are you going to be working?
So I'm done. But anyway, I made a new results elements right over here because I'm gonna do some more tricky stuff. Wait, why did it not tidy up my JavaScript?
Okay, because you're not wrapping.
Oh wait, no, it tidied.
Okay, there we go.
It tidied. Okay, so const.
Okay, you are passing down the style. Okay, so that works, and then the key.
Wait, why? Where's the background? Did it disappear for you too?
No, everything's working for me.
Okay. Well, maybe I just need a. There we go. All right, just kidding. Things are working.
All right. So, what are you using the ref for in the result?
Good question, and I'm really glad you asked. I'm still trying to find an answer, which is why I'm delaying right now. But there's actually a really good reason for this. This is why. So what I'm going to be doing is, and we could use LayoutEffect here too. We are keeping track of the position. This is sort of like, I'm working on the next version of flipping, right? And so what I want to experiment with, and you could see this in the animation too, is that as results either come in or disappear, certain things slide in or out or whatever based on their position. And so it's not just an animation of like the heights background, but also an animation of each of the list item results. And so to do that, we have to track the rectangle, or sorry, set rect over here, and get like the top, all we need is the top. So yeah, that made no sense, did it?
No, I understand what you're saying. So if no, return, and so now you're going to check the
founding client rect, and so I guess this could happen every single time.
Yeah. Yeah, since we only need the top, we could just set the top directly.
Right, you know what? Let's do that. Top, set top, and then set top. Yeah, good call.
All right, and so what's your plan for that?
Oh, so
how we use it.
My plan for this is another. We're sort of getting into advanced React over here. See, good stuff. Time for a debounce. Just reading the comments in the chat over here. Love the engagement in the chat, by the way. But here's another good use case for ref. With React, when you have use state and all of that, that reflects the element's current state. So if you want to reflect sort of a previous state, you could also use ref for that too, and it's pretty simple. You just have const top ref equals use ref and something. We'll just make it null for now. And now I could say that right over here, we're setting the current top, but we could top ref dot current. We could directly set the top ref to the previous top, which in this case would be top. And now we have both of those values. We have top over here, like you already put, and we have pre-top, or top, pre-top, well, however you want to name it, right? So this would be top ref dot current. So do you see where I'm going with this?
I do. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take the previous top, and we're going to subtract the current top and animate.
Yes, but we're going to do this all in CSS, because CSS has this really cool feature called calc, and it allows you to do that.
Nice. And real quick for those unfamiliar, so we've got the style object here, and then we're destructuring the style that's passed in so that we can get that index variable from the parent. So you can see the style passed in here, and then we're setting additional CSS variables on there. Unlike Vue, in React, props don't pass down to like the DOM element, so you can't just set like a class name on a component itself. You have to pass that class name down in the props and then merge and combine, and it gets very messy, but there's reasons for it, I'm sure. So yes, so now we have all three of those CSS variables by combining them in that way.
Yeah. So I'm still thinking over here, and this is what's good about useLayoutEffect versus useEffect too. Is useLayoutEffect happens right as you're rendering the DOM, like immediately after. useEffect is sort of delayed, so you could think about it as like a set timeout. It happens after everything is rendered. And so we could actually use that to our advantage. Here's me thinking out loud, is that the way that, flipping sort of works is that you, like, before you figure out like what the new position is, before rendering fully happens, you quickly set the elements to its previous position by using a negative transform or something like that. And then on the next tick, this is important, on the next tick, that's when you transition it to zero, basically. So it moves naturally to its next position. So And so that we just need one property. So I'm going to say const dy set dy. This might not work, but I'm just giving it a go. And so let's see. So we could say const next top equals that. And this is easily removable in case we don't want to use it, or in case it doesn't work, in case it fails. So let's see. We had the next top. We had the top ref.current. So const dy, dy equals next top minus top ref.current. Whoa, what's going on there?
So I've tried already to implement that. But yeah, so the problem is that's the absolute position of it, right?
Yeah. So that's why I'm deltaing. So
right.
That's why I'm saying, what if we just had a dy over there, and then we like, oh yeah. So here's what I'm thinking. Again, thinking out loud, the math might be a little bit off, but I really think this is going to work. So we have the dy. We could set dy to dy, or I'm going to call this delta y because this is already dy over here. Sorry. And then in useEffect,
don't we need to update top ref? You removed that.
Oh wait, not in useEffect. Top ref?
Yeah, in here.
No, we really don't. Oh wait, top ref.current.
Because that's not being updated anywhere.
Oh well, then in the yes, we do. Sorry. Oops. So we set dy to delta y, and then we request animation frame. And trust me, we'll explain all of this pretty soon. We request animation frame and sets dy to 0. Again, this is basically the flip technique. We're zeroing things out, and we're only using this dy over here.
Okay, so yeah, possible issue here. So we've got top ref.current and next top. They're both being set in the same way. So how?
Well, so next top is, so this would basically move to here because we want the delta. Okay. That's for later. Yeah.
And then,
all right, so we could actually inspect this in the CSS or the, and just make sure that we, so if I, let's see, what would be a good way to do this? Let's see. Oh, okay. I got an idea. So if you type dog and then you go to the beginning and you type an E, you'll see cattle dog should have that delta.
yes.
Does it have the right delta? That's the question.
Let me see.
It doesn't have any delta. So
well, the dy gets immediately reset, so it's not going to have.
Oh, okay. So let's go ahead and dog e.
Doggy.
It's still, oh, or maybe I didn't refresh or it didn't refresh on me.
Something is broken. There we go. Okay. Dog e. I see. Inspecting.
No dy.
Right. I suspect that's because our top ref is not being updated.
Oh wait, yeah. So let's see. All right. So next top delta y equals next top ref dot current. I mean, next top should be the top of that. So we should console.log next top and figure out. Oh well, we're gonna get a million different. Actually, no, we're getting nothing. No, wait, we are getting numbers.
Lots and lots of numbers.
Oh, you know what? This might have to be useEffect because we might have to wait until things are rendered onto the DOM. So let me just grab useEffect from here. UseEffect. It's
So
funny. This is becoming advanced React.
Yeah, if you're tuning in right now and trying to follow along, what David's trying to implement here is basically a flip kind of technique with just the React hook interface. So basically, whenever the layout of the result changes, like it goes from the fourth search result to the first, he wants to update that as a CSS variable and trigger a transition so that it moves into that position rather than snapping into that position.
Right. Let's see, next top minus top ref dot current, so delta top. Yeah, that should change every single time. So I'm gonna console.log the whatever the children is, which is just going to be that text and that next top. So now we have a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it is. So it is updating.
Yeah, it definitely is updating, but it's going. Aha. Okay, I got an idea. Got an idea. Since we're changing that top, are we changing that top? Yeah, we have topref.current, and that could actually probably be use dates too. But so it's rendering twice, which is fine. I got an idea. Topref.current. So we're basically making sure that if the top ref didn't change, don't do anything. So now, will that work? No. Let's see, cattle dog, Australian. So let's see, the next top. Where's next top? Oh, next top is over there.
Yeah. So why is the cattle dog one not rendering or not triggering in that?
Oh, you know what? Let's do a thing where if the next top is the same as the current top, then don't do anything. So if next top equals topref.current, return. This should do the trick. Whoa, did everything go away?
Yeah, it's so I actually have a transform in there.
Right now. So it's working, and we know it's working because of the error. Perfect. Got all of glitches like that.
Let's edog. Let's inspect and see what's happening here. So edog. dy, yeah, okay, so we do have a dy there.
Cool. So what if we remove this, whatever style you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see data.
All right, so dog, E, are we getting the right delta? Let's make sure. E, and it looks like we are. Except the other way around. So I had to reverse my calculations, right? Yeah, I had to reverse it. It's always one or the other. But yeah, it's working, right? Yep.
Is it?
Yep. Yeah, so type dog and then make that edog, and you'll see that it should be negative 420 or negative something like that.
Negative 535, but it's not changing for me.
Well, what do you mean changing?
So cattle dog Australian is staying at negative 535 for me.
Oh, so it's not changing. Oh, okay. It's because I added that thing. All right, try it again.
Yep, there we go. 128, nice. But the math might be off there. You might need to reverse it again.
reverse.
Okay, so edog. Negative 128, 125. Yeah, okay. All right, so we can implement the transform and then also implement that again, right?
Yes.
Okay. Trigger that. Okay. 0. I'm just getting, yeah.
Oh wait, that does need to be useEffect. Just kidding.
What needs to be useEffect?
Nothing. Or well, the I accidentally changed something and then changed it back, so don't bother
Okay.
that. Oh right, we're good.
Are we?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the correct values, which is step 0.
Right. It's just that resetting of it that's breaking it. Okay, -3. Jeez.
Sorry, me and my wild ideas.
No, I like where this is going. I'm just trying to figure out the right math of it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see.
Yeah. So once we have that value, and once we have that value consistently updating, then we're golden.
Yeah, it's just kind of a matter of triggering that transition.
Yeah.
So transform.
Again, this is just an experiment. It might not be a good idea to do this within React's land. I personally wouldn't, but I want to see, can it be done? So that's my main motivation here.
Yeah. Okay, so I think the issue is, so we do want it to transform, but we don't necessarily want that when we're initially setting the delta here. We want it. We want the transition to trigger after we've reset it, basically, which I'm not sure of a great way to do that React-wise.
Now I'm not getting those transition values.
Well, I just put set dy back to 0 on that request animation frame.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's gonna, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't have much longer here on the stream. So.
Okay, no problem. Well, what we could do is we could leave it out for now. The stagger should be plenty. So yeah, let's just go ahead and add some style.
Yeah, we'll mark a to-do on that.
Yep, I mean that's definitely an interesting problem to solve for sure.
Yeah, that can be a separate tip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. But we have, let's see, we have these updating, we have Bulldog, we have all sorts of fun stuff in here. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's some cleanup that can happen with the styles and with the exact animations. I think the core of what we're showing here is the way that you can kind of trigger these CSS animations with React rather than trying to actually do the animation like in React. Like it's very expensive to call all of these hooks and these refs and all these things, especially if you're doing that like every frame, trying to request animation frame, update hooks, and like do all these wild things. Like that's not a great approach to doing the animation. So instead, where possible, you just want to pass this information down to CSS, and then you can use the built-in browser's information to cause that. One thing, Postal Rat in the chat, does it need a key? Does it know it's the same element? That might have been part of the issue with this, but it does have a key on the actual result, but the result doesn't have a key on the element itself. So that could be part of it. It's getting replaced in the DOM because of the way React sometimes treats the elements or the components. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I mean, we could, yeah.
Let's see. So search dog. Great. Yeah. So there's a solid little animation right there. Yeah, I'd love to explore more and see if we can get that flipping working. But I think for now we can bring this to a close as a nice quick intro to React here.
I wonder why the background color hover isn't fading in like I want it to.
Isn't fading in.
Or like you see the results item, background color, all that.
Well, I'm overriding the transition down here.
Aha. Well, there we go.
So that does it.
There we go.
So in the chat, hey, thanks for this. I'm a Twitch newbie. Is there a dedicated React.js or JavaScript channel I can subscribe to for coding streams? There are a few good ones. We do on our Keyframers channel. We do just host a few random ones that I've liked. So you can tune in when we're not streaming, and there might be someone from our list on. I don't have any direct recommendations off the top of my head though.
Yeah. Neither do I.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Adding some labels here.
Yeah. And I guess we need to do let's see, this flex direction row, line item center, and JCFS. Yeah, and let's just get that exact color because I like that color. It's not really blue. It's that.
There we go. Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I dig it. All right, so dog, yeah. So instead of search for anything, this should be search for dog breeds. There we go. And then, all right.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Let's bring this to a conclusion here. Let's see. Why is there an empty space when we don't have any items? There shouldn't be. Okay, it's the results padding. That should be 0. And instead we can add a margin to the... Hey, speaking of dog breeds.
Yep, got some sound effects. Yeah, I have a soundboard.
Nice.
So.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll clean up some styles and stuff later. But yeah, let's go into some Keyflection here. Yeah. All right. So we're now moving into Keyflections, a quick review of the techniques we've used to build this animation. If you have any questions, ask us in the chat. We'll be happy to answer.
And yes, if you enjoyed watching us so far, you can follow and subscribe here on Twitch or YouTube, or pledge at patreon.com/keyframers, and the links are available below.
Yes. All right. So thanks to you, the viewers, chiming in on our poll. We wanted to do a React animation for you all. Show you a few techniques for animating in React. Give a little introduction there. So we did this animation, or inspired by this animation by Jan Hoffman, called Search Results, with just some nice little UX kind of experiences of filtering out search results and kind of popping things in and all that. So we didn't recreate that exactly. We just wanted to show that to a certain extent. So we built this little dog breed searcher. So if you start typing in the types of dogs, you get nice filtered result list where they kind of animate in. Let's see, interior, yeah. What other types of dogs are there? Let's see, we got Schnauzer, yeah, that's a good. Nice, man. These are some weird dog breeds.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
I had no idea. So yeah, we accomplish this with React and CSS. They can be friends. They can work together. So first off, you got a glimpse of that there. We've got just our dog breed search results as just a simple array, and then mostly everything else is in our JavaScript and in the CSS. So we're using React and React DOM. With React DOM, we're rendering our app component to our app element, and then within our app we have two main variables that are kind of driving all the interaction there. We've got a useState hook for the query, so that whenever the user types, it populates that and then filters out the results. So that's what's happening here. If what they've typed in is less than 3 characters, which let's trim that down to 2 since we are a little more limited with our results, we return an empty array, or we filter out based on that query there, and then we only return the top 5 results. And then do you want to let's see, our search input, there's nothing much happening there. It's just input basically that's updating that, and an SVG icon. Nothing to write home about there. But the results, David, do you want to walk us through what's happening there?
Sure. So the results, that is, there's a few things happening. Essentially, it's just taking the result data and displaying it, but we're also keeping track of height, and we're doing a couple things to do that. We have a reference to the elements, which is over here using useRef, and we put that right on the UL. What this is doing is we're using it to measure the height of the UL, and that's over here in the useLayoutEffect. Now, useLayoutEffect might be a bit esoteric to some of you, even if you're experienced with React. The difference between useLayoutEffect and useEffect is useLayoutEffect happens immediately after the DOM is rendered, and useEffect happens sometime after. So you could think of useEffect as async, useEffect as synchronous with the DOM changing. And we're doing that just so we don't get like a weird flash of mismatched styles and stuff like that. There's more that goes into that. So, but we're grabbing the height and we're setting that as a CSS variable. Now that allows us to transition the height on a pseudo element, which is our famous background element that we've been using in previous episodes. So yeah, that's what's going on there.
Right. So instead of actually transitioning the height on the main element, we've got this pseudo element that we're transitioning the height of, so that we can get that kind of smooth transition. And it really should be a little more performant, because it's not affecting layout in the same way as it would be if we were doing that on the main element. So yeah, this is what I was talking about. React and CSS working together. We've got the CSS variable that's triggering this animation, rather than us trying to do some kind of request animation frame loop or importing a animation library to constantly update the height on the element. That would just be way too much. So yeah, that works out really well. And then for the actual search results, how we're popping those in. So we're mapping through the data. This is just kind of the React way to render a list of items, where for each of those items from the data array, we're rendering a result component with the key of that specific item's text data. This ensures that React isn't going to re-render that unnecessarily. It's going to try and keep that in the DOM if it can. And then we're passing down the style, the index. So this is another CSS variable that we're going to use there. I'll show in just a moment. So for the result, we were trying some flip kind of stuff that we'll maybe come back to or tweet something about later. But essentially, we've just got a list item, with that CSS variable populating in there and nothing else really happening for it now. But we use that CSS variable down here. Down here. So that we have this pop-in animation, so that whenever a new result comes in, it's got that nice entrance animation, and then it's got the animation delay of the index there. So that's what gives you a nice kind of staggering in of those. And this animation can be whatever you want. It's just right now a simple scale and opacity animation, but that stagger really jazzes it up.
Yeah.
So a couple simple techniques that you can take home or take to work, I guess, might be the better.
Hopefully to work, yeah.
Yeah, and use in your next React component some simple ways to kind of integrate that with, it could be styled components, CSS modules, whatever. You can use these with CSS in JS as well as just CSS. So.
Yes, and keep in mind that all the techniques that we've been using can easily be applied to any other framework. That's why we didn't try to get too React specific, but just the idea of keeping track of heights, keeping things in CSS variables, doing a lot of the animation within CSS. In fact, all of it.
Yeah. And in Vue, it's mostly the same. It's just a little bit different syntax. But I used to use this staggering technique of a index CSS variable in Vue all the time, and it works in pretty much the same way. So it's a great easy technique to add a little extra zest to your applications. Hey, and there's an Appenzeller dog breed apparently, so it's great.
Yes.
All right. Anything else?
I think that's about it.
Cool. Well, you have been watching Keyframers. If you've enjoyed this episode and would like to see more from David and I, there are many ways you can support us. You can pledge at patreon.com/keyframers, get one of these cool pins. You can also subscribe and participate in these live streams each week here on Twitch, and you can like and subscribe at youtube.com/keyframers, where we have all our past episodes, and you'll find this one here shortly if you missed part of it.
And also, we do accept submissions for future episodes, so tweet at Keyframers with any animations that you'd like to see made. In October, our theme was treats, so I guess this month will be
dogs.
I don't know, dogs.
Dog vendor.
whatever you're thankful for. I'm thankful for dogs. So.
I can get behind that. We'll have to do a cats episode too.
Okay, fine. Yeah, so you could also present questions and challenges to us that we will try to answer on the air like we've been doing for this episode. And please be sure to share this video and demo across all of your social platforms, which are probably built on React.
Probably, yeah. For better or for worse.
Yes.
At any rate, thank you so much for joining us and watching. We appreciate it. Until next time, adios, amigos.
Adios.